So tonight we are talking about the very topical coronavirus. This morning I was watching Donald Trump talking to the BBC News regarding all flights from Europe to America is being stopped for the next 30 days, and that starts tomorrow. So what a huge impact on the economy, huge impact on different countries around the world. Italy, I'm hearing the schools are closing, the shops are closing. There's literally a shutdown of the whole country because of this coronavirus. So what is it about? You know, medical school, you learn about the coronavirus, it's just one other virus, like the influenza virus or rotavirus for more like your intestinal diarrhea symptoms. But coronavirus is a virus that is now started in China and it's around the world. And the biggest issue that is the deaths, obviously. And there's so far, as of today, a number of 4,964 deaths as per the World Health Organization. So what does that number look like? Well, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. So the chances of you getting it are actually very slim. Influenza, to put it into context, you know, the virus came up onto the national and international forum on the 22nd of January this year. So it's been about 6 weeks or so, maybe 7 weeks. And in contrast, the influenza bug and virus causes anything from 291,000 deaths in a year up to 646,000. So if you do the math, the correlation is 30-fold more influenza deaths per year annually worldwide. So a little bit of hype going around in the media regarding this. Just to get a context though, because people are worried, they're doing lots of things. A patient told me today that there's a line up in Costco for 200 people waiting to buy boxes of toilet rolls and packets of toilet rolls. It's all going a little bit crazy. But just to get the context, you know, there's 68,000 people recovered from this virus. And the number of current cases documented is 134,000. So it's like half the cases have recovered. And 4,900 or 5,000 people have died. So who are dying of this? Well, it's the older people. You know, over 80s, the current percentage is 14.8% chance of death. That's very high. But they're in their 80s. If you're in your 70s, it's 8%. If you're in your 60s, it's down to 3.9%. If you're in your 50s, it's 1.3%. 40s, like me, is 0.4%. And as you get younger, it gets less. And there's been no deaths under the age of 10. So if you're older, yes, it can happen. So why is it happening? It's because our immunity is depressed. And as we get older, our immunity gets depressed and therefore we're more prone. The fact is, we live in a world with so many bacteria and viruses and protozoa, like parasites, that vastly outnumber us as humans. Even in the human, one person at a time, there's tenfold the number of these bugs in our intestine there is cells in our body. So the idea that this big virus is coming to kill you is not true. It's simply not true. So, you know, as you well aware, you don't need me to tell you things to do. You know, wash your hands. And if you get the cold or a flu-like virus, we've been told to stay home. You know, the incubation period for this is about 14 days. And, you know, it may go on for several weeks. So stay home, stay away from other people, keep your family together, and just common sense approach prevails. And the biggest thing I'm concerned about, and it relates to chronic pain, because at the core of this, I think, through mass media, there's a huge fear that we could die of this condition. And sure, you can get it, we need to be sensible. But let's look at the other things. You know, fear is the negative emotion, like the father of negative emotions that come from frustration and irritability and rage and depression, anxiety. Fear is underneath all of it. And we need to bring it up and say, okay, we've got fear of this. And then take practical actions as we've mentioned forward. Same with pain. You know, whenever you get a sore back or a sore ankle, the instant reaction, seriously, instantly, coming from the brain is fear. Protect, survive, don't move, don't walk, don't do your exercises. And literally to slow down the body instead of, okay, I've got pain, I'm in fear, embrace it. Do what you can. You can only walk around your house, you walk around your house. You know, you function where you are and then build on it. but fear is an instinctive emotional response that we must rise above and move forward in our life. And I was thinking about what is the antidote for this fear of the coronavirus? Well, the opposite of fear is love. And I think if you look at the emotions and the experiences of the human of love, peace, and joy, I think joy has got the highest vibration. And my tip would be to focus on things that bring you joy, simple things. It could be hanging out with a friend. It could be writing a good story. It could be enjoying a meal or going for a walk. Something that you enjoy. Listen to nice music, your favorite artist, watching your favorite movie again, going to the cinema, whatever it may be. Connect with that joy, because in our hearts, when we're joyful, then there's that coherence that happens with our brain. And when there's heart-brain coherence or synchronicity, then our body is in a healing path. So that would be my tip. Be aware that whatever you're doing in a day, bring consciousness to it. Talking, listening, speaking, eating, tasting, moving, whatever you're doing, bring consciousness to it. Be aware of it, like in an active meditation. And the last thing I'll mention around the coronavirus and how you keep your immunity is get some rest, get some sleep, get some hydration with healthy water in your body. Eat a nutritious diet, low in inflammatory proteins or lectins, but always keep smiling, even though you're struggling. And we all struggle with things that we've got to deal with in our life. See the bright side of it, see the silver lining, and keep moving forward. So, thank you, coronavirus, for teaching us about fear and how we can rise above it and we can literally continue to thrive in this environment called Earth and all the things that come to us on this journey. Thanks so much, and I look forward to next week for the next episode of the live stream. Bye for now.